All right, this is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started 1 West 125th Street on the Commanding General YAHANNA. Not affiliated with any other Hebrew Israelite group.
That's right.
All right. So, we already know what it is, man, as a people, for the most part, most of us as a people already know we need to band together. We need to get together, unified. I'm saying we already know this. I'm saying even like I want to say even the coons know it, but the coons, I'm saying, they have a in a sense a selfish nature going on. I'm saying most Uncle Toms, I'm saying, they're very selfish. They're only thinking for themselves. You know what I'm saying? That's why they rely on our oppressor. I'm saying, yes, something to say?
If I may, I was thinking that coons really, while they're cooning, they don't even think about themselves, in my opinion. I think they're just so hyped to please the oppressor that they think that that will be their saving grace. So, I mean, but even with that, some of them just want to please their oppressor.
Right.
Even if it comes to their own downfall, they just want to please them.
Right. That's why Uncle Tom's gonna get dealt with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a time, especially when Christ comes back. Go ahead.
We actually need to find the actual name of that story because Uncle Tom was actually, I think, the good guy in that story. Just saying. I think so.
Like a hand stuck on my backpack. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and get with the first scripture. Give me Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness.
Right. Iron is going to rust. You know what I'm saying? Which means your enemy is going to hate you. Your enemy is going to do something to you. So never trust them. You know what I'm saying? As long as you know what I'm saying, it's natural, man. There's always an opposition. You know what I'm saying? You always have an enemy. You know what I'm saying? No matter what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Even within yourself, it's a battle. You know what I'm saying? For there to be a battle, there has to be an opposition, something you're opposing. You know what I'm saying? That's the way, that's what growth is about. You need something to oppose you to grow from it. If there wasn't either or, you know what I'm saying, there just would be nothing. You know what I'm saying? You need opposition, you need duality for things to grow. You know what I'm saying? So as long as you have an enemy or opposition, you know what I'm saying, you have something to grow from or something to learn from. You know what I'm saying? So never trust. So like another people, you know what I'm saying, would another nation would be your enemy, because you know what I'm saying, the thing with other nations, they're going to seek more power. You already see that. You see that with any nation. You know what I'm saying? The examples are there. The Chinese are going to do for themselves, for their people, to grow their people and to seek more power so that their people will be okay, will be live abundantly. You know what I'm saying? You see that with America. You know what I'm saying? White people are going to do for their people so their people can have easier lives. You know what I'm saying? That's what nations do. They seek power. You know what I'm saying? The more power a nation has, you know what I'm saying, the what's the word I'm trying to say? The better off they're going to be. You know what I'm saying?
Dominant.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. The more dominant they're going to be they're going to be at the top of the totem pole. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to live the best lives. Okay. So never trust your enemy, because when you trust your enemy, you're essentially giving your power away.
If I may.
Go ahead.
But that was the problem with a lot of slaves back in the day who I guess broke certain codes, like a secret they weren't supposed to tell or something like that. Well, master wouldn't do me like that. He's been kind to me, and yada yada yada. And then they find out master just see you as another nigga once you break that code. You know, right. Trusting the enemy, and you end up putting yourself in a worse position. And not just that. I mean, as far as like with white people up to date, there's no white person in your arsenal, in your list of names, that has ever just went all out for black people. Can you name one? Because I can't. And I mean, even if they did, was there a selfless thing behind it, or did they benefit from it some sort of way? 9 times out of 10, they benefit from it if they did. So stop trusting your enemies to have some certain out of nowhere pure kindness for you, because it ain't there. I don't like you. I don't like you. That's the end of it.
Right. I mean, basically, that's because your enemy, another nation, your opposition, is going to seek to destroy you. Right. You know what I'm saying? If there's something, you know what I'm saying, if you know what I'm saying, basically all nations are out for the same thing. They're out to do for their people. You know what I'm saying? The better they have an edge, you know what I'm saying, over another nation, you know what I'm saying, the Japanese have an edge over the Chinese. I'm saying the Chinese eventually are going to be under the Japanese. Right. You know what I'm saying? No two nations can stay on the same playing level.
That's a lot, kid. Really. These days, they're out to do for their own people, but keep it under the radar that they don't care about you. I mean, their actions going to show that they don't care about you, but when it comes to the spotlight and there's a conversation behind it, it's, oh no, we care about everybody. You know, it's just as the white man would do, it's just certain criterias that these people have, so we just do this for them, yada yada yada. You know, all kind of BS.
And Salakia, and they do it. You know what I'm saying? They'll do it in word and not in deed. Right. You know, they'll you know, like how you said, people will talk about doing, you know what I'm saying, how they love everybody, how they love black people and this and that. But when it comes to doing the deed, you know, chances are you're not going to do anything for us. You're not going, especially not going to kiss boots. You know what I'm saying? You're not, you know, for the most white people, they're not going to show, you know what I'm saying, how sorry they really are. They're not going to support this cause.
Like, go ahead. I hope this ain't too far off topic or nothing like that, but recently I seen on social media, there's a story where a police officer shot 3 little black kids in the head. Damn. Over mistaken identity. They was in a truck, a moving vehicle, and the officer was out of uniform, and he thought that they fit the subscription of someone who might have robbed some store. I forgot what it was, and without really identifying it thoroughly and correctly, he just shot it to the truck and ended up hitting 3 little kids in the heads. And I think they all still alive, but they definitely are traumatized and damaged. One child got a bullet in their brain. Right. I don't know how they still living, but most are looking out for them. But yeah, and that's a monster.
Right. Right. You know what I'm saying? And he's going to get off freely. You know what I'm saying? Because his people love him. You know, just like how Dylan Roof went into a church and shot up all them people. You know, they went ahead, took Dylan Roof and got him some double cheeseburgers at Burger King. You know what I'm saying? Like, their people love each other.
Thank you for serving your nation.
Right, exactly. Thank you for serving your nation, for getting rid of more niggas. You know what I'm saying? That's how those people think, man. That's how they operate. You know, they have some degree of love for each other. You know what I'm saying? But our people, we're hard-headed.
That's a lot, yeah. Thank you for serving your nation by killing off these niggas. But when Negroes or Hispanics get pulled over for traffic tickets and we mention rights, how dare you have rights? I gotta kill you for this.
Right.
You take this ticket or you take this this attitude I have with you with pride and you love it, or you gonna take these bullets or this taser or these cuffs or all three.
Right. I got a scripture. This is Zechariah 11:5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're going to do. You know, our oppressors are going to slay us and hold themselves not guilty. You know, that's a repeating cause. That's a repeating, you know, circumstance that happens to us as a people. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to hold, you know what I'm saying, people. Right. Because really, to them, you know what I'm saying, it's y'all not only are conquered people, but we still at war. You know, we still gonna kill you in the streets and do nothing. You know what I'm saying? And not, you know, because we're not guilty because it's still wartime. We still have wars. That's how these people think.
Let a black man start becoming a serial killer. When they catch him, he's dead. Let a white man become a serial killer, and they want to do a study.
Right.
We want to see how he thinks, what made him take off. It probably because they want to understand why they crazy themselves, and they trying to see if they can find a cure to their own mental illness. But you know, the only cure to their illness is death.
Right. Death and slavery.
Right.
That's gonna be their cure.
Salakia, whip back gonna fix all of that.
Real talk. Shit, it may or may not, because shit, even after the 1,000 years of slavery they still gonna try and come up against us, and then we just gonna have to take them all up and burn them. You know what I'm saying? Thus saith the Lord. You know, so right. So, you know, these people, they can't be trusted. You know, the scriptures say they have a perpetual hatred for us. And perpetual means never ending. You know what I'm saying? So never trust any nation, man. Don't trust any nation, because you need to trust your own people. Right. That's really what it comes down to. You know what I'm saying? You have so much distrust for your own people, and you devalue and belittle your own people, that you found, you know, trust and value in another nation who really don't care anything about you.
Right. Salakia, if I may. With us saying all this about white people, I'm pretty sure we have our few viewers who look at us and be like, man, they racist, they bad for the black community, yada, 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 this and that. Okay, but check this out. I seen something on Facebook. One of our brothers from the I.S.U.P.K posted, and it was very short, strong, and sweet, near and dear to my heart, which is, if you ever supported Black College or HBUC, I think that's how you say it, you pretty much supported segregation. You was about us having our own education with our own people, being away from everybody else.
Right.
Black colleges, black-owned businesses, you know, all that leads to segregation, not supporting white people so much. Start putting your money toward your own people. So what's the difference between that and us telling you that we ain't supposed to be dealing with them in the first place, period? According to the Bible, because we ain't never just made nothing up. Everything we say with the scripture, you can right there with a King James Version Bible, look it up yourself. It's right there.
Right.
And no white man thought about leaving himself out.
But give me
because they think the white man wrote the Bible.
Oh yeah, that's right. The white man did not write the Bible.
I think there was some smart white men who just had all the answers to life in their own way, but you know, left themselves out or
right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The white man did not write the Bible, man. You know what I'm saying? Like color is all through the Bible. All through it, man. Like the angels were black. I'm saying all the prophets were black. I'm saying they were all Israelites. They were neither were they of another nation, and they were all had dark pigment. They had dark skin. You know what I'm saying? But give me what's it called? Give me First Esdras. Right. 5 and 70. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna show you what happens. You know what I'm saying? When you build, you know what I'm saying, when you join another nation.
It's 70.
Right. You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to be hand in hand with everybody and join hands and all that. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead and read that.
This is the book of First Esdras, chapter 5, verse 70. Then Zerubbabel and Yahushua and the chief of the families of Israel said unto them, it is not for us and you to build together an house unto the Lord our God.
Right. So this is when the nations were trying to build with Israel. We were trying to build our temple again. And the other nations wanted to join us. You know what I'm saying? But they were like, the prophets were like, no, it's, you know, it's not for you to come and build with us. You know, we're not to come together. You know what I'm saying? We got this opportunity to build our temple again. We know if you come, if we have you come and join us and build this temple with us, we're gonna get another punishment. You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
Verse 71. We ourselves alone will build unto the Lord of Israel, according as Cyrus, the king of the Persians, have commanded us.
Right. So since the king of Persia, he's letting us do this, you know what I'm saying, because we wanted to build our temple, you know what I'm saying, because back then we were in slavery under him. So we had to you know what I'm saying, in a sense, get permission, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, we wanted to build this for our Lord. You know, we wanted to go and build the temple, you know, so it wasn't, you know, it was just something for us to do as a people. You know what I'm saying? That was one way we were trying to, beginning to try and separate from the Persians and the captivity we were under. You know, so we were like, no, don't be trying to build with us. No.
We good.
Yeah, we good. It's not for you to do that. You know, it's for us to do it alone. Go ahead. What you got?
What I just thought about right now is if you really think about the world and how it works, one of the biggest clues to separation is language barriers. Who created them? Like, who created the different languages for different people to speak? The Most High. Right. They there for a reason. We all wasn't supposed to be joined together. Now, as far as with his Hispanics, they speak Spanish because they were conquered by the Spaniards.
Right.
And black people We speak English because we were conquered by the Englands. So what language did we speak before then? It wasn't African.
Right.
But even if you want to go with that answer, okay. But still, what did the Hispanics speak before Spanish? You don't know. It was Lakodash. It was Hebrew. Language meant for Israel. There's something to think about.
Right. You know what I'm saying? That's, you know, we've always had our own thing, our own language, our own culture, you know, our own swag, man, our own style of doing things. We had our own cities, our own land. You know, we have our own inheritance in things.
It's like,
Go ahead.
no matter how much they try to, what's the word I'm looking for? Is it indoctrinate? No matter how much they try to change us through slavery,
Right.
the way of our culture always bleed over anything that we touch and it just look good. Anything. We take old cars
Right.
and make them look like souvenirs with the big shiny rims and the extra little lights and gizmos inside. You know what I'm saying? Candy paint. We make you want old cars. Cars you thought was done with, out of style. We take them and just make it flavorful.
Right.
Torn jeans, you know.
Right.
You got some brothers that can make torn jeans look straight. As long as it ain't skinny jeans. Please don't go that route. But torn jeans. Just different things. We just make it look good. Everything. That's why we are the salt of the earth.
Right. So Salaki, I mean that's us as a people. Like how you said, we're the salt of the earth. You know, like I like to say, we got the Midas touch. You know, everything we touch turn to gold.
Ooh, like
You know?
that.
So everything we're gonna put, you know, our effort in, you know what I'm saying, it's going to be, we're gonna, you know, put our own little style into it, our own little swag into it, no matter what it is. You know what I'm saying? And then all other nations are just gonna follow suit. Because really all nations, other, you know what I'm saying, all nations outside of us, they're really lame.
Right.
You know, they're boring. You know, there's nothing great about them because everything they do, they've got it from us.
Right.
You know, we're the originators of, you know, 99% of all inventions because we were in slavery under most nations, the Chinese, like how I read, the Persians, you know what I'm saying, the Egyptians. Everywhere we go, we make that nation great.
You're not going to only find that in the Bible. You can find that today too.
Right.
Go through history. Everything that destroyed something belonged to a white man. I guarantee you, if you just look it up, they're the authors of destruction. Everything that destroys anything, they created. Now, everything that made life better, we created. From the toilet to the microwave, street lights, man, in microwaves, hair products, everything that makes your life easier, we created that. But everything that makes life hard, like you getting documents to say you're certified to get a certain business and all that stuff, everything that makes things harder in life, white folks create. Like credit. Ain't no black man created credit. I guarantee you that.
Damn right.
And credit is one of the worst things ever. Because if you don't have credit, some fictional digital numbers that say you're to be trusted with your finances, it's harder to get a lot of things. A home, hell, just a refrigerator. So
Right. I mean, that's the white man. He's going to come up with a way to keep you more oppressed. You know, that's how he does. He's going to think of wicked things. That's the type of, he was made to be unrighteous. Right. He wasn't made to, every thought he puts into is going to somehow help everybody. No, everything he thinks of is going to somehow be better for himself and worse off for everybody else. Mm-hmm. That's how he operates. So give me Psalms 83 and 1. No, 83 and 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, other nations think of ways, you know what I'm saying, to keep us further oppressed. That's why all these stores like Fiesta, you know what I'm saying, Fiesta's not even you know what I'm saying, a actual Mexican grocery store. It's owned by another nation. Like, even when you go into a beauty supply store, most of the time they're owned by the Asians. Then your corner stores, the Arabs, the Ishmaelites. I'm saying every business that comes into our neighborhood to sell to us, it's owned by somebody who's other than us. It's owned by another nation. It's never, it's never Black people owning businesses to help their community and build, further build us up. You know what I'm saying? Or it's never, another nation actually coming in to do what's right and build, us as a people. That's just not going to happen. And you can see that with Haiti, because right now Haiti's going through actually what's been going through it's like I think it's called a nonprofit industrial complex, something like that. It's I had looked it up one time. You know what I'm saying? That they have all these nonprofit organizations down there that aren't really doing anything. You know what I'm saying? They're actually not building the agriculture and economy of Haiti. It's just to take all the donations and pretend like they're doing something. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead and read that.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 2. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
Right. Keep going.
Verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones.
Right. So these other nations hate us and they take crafty counsel against us. They think of ways and strategies how they can get over on us. Like how we had read before in Ecclesiasticus, never trust your enemy. Like iron rusteth. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like they're going to come after you. They're going to think of strategies and ways to be on top of you. That's what any army or nation does. They think of ways to better govern their people and to strategize to gain more power and be up over another nation. So if two opposing nations were to ever go to war, the one that's more prepared and more has more order and better strategies and more power, they're going to be on top and win the battle of the other opposing nation. So
if I could. Other than to dominate, there's no other reason why they be sitting in their homes to be thinking about this. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, when we're in our homes in private, we chill and think about our family. And the next come up is how to get a certain chick that you like, or how to get enough money or something to get something that you like. We thinking about bettering ourselves without harming no one else, while everyone else is thinking about bettering themselves by crippling our culture and harming our families and doing all kind of negative damage. There's absolutely no reason why our food should be filled with so much different poisons to kill us off slowly. However, that is not the invention of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
It's lucky, like, you know, like we just sitting around thinking, like, you know, brothers and sisters sitting around thinking like that. You know, man, how can I get? You know, I like this broad, this and that. You know what I'm saying? How can I get her? Or man, I got, you know, go through the whole 9-to-5 job type of thing. You know what I'm saying? It's just because we're left with survival skills.
Right.
I'm saying nobody's even thinking about, man, how can all my people get together so we can have our own thing and not worry? Like nobody's really even thinking about governing, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, Most High in Christ for this school. You know, at least we've thought a way to build the nation.
Salakia. And outside of slavery, who is the inventor of that? With you know, outside of slavery crippling us to not think like that, there's also been the process of killing off all our leaders who did have that thought. Every leader who did had a thought like, man, black people need to stick together and we need to put toward our own, they ain't breathing no more.
Right. And if you think about it, it's very few that actually think like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because, you know what I'm saying, like Malcolm X and whatever, you know what I'm saying? Just because Malcolm X died, why'd the whole movement die? You know? If Marcus Garvey died, and just because Marcus Garvey died, why'd the whole movement die? You know? But at least in this school, you know what I'm saying, we have a foundation to where that will never die. We have this Bible, our records. We have our history. That's the foundation. This wisdom is the foundation. You know? So just because, you know, we might have the commander general die, the man before him will take his place and continue on with the nation on trying to get up out of hell.
It's like one man drop a sword, you pick that sword up and swing with two.
Right. You know, you just keep moving. You know. So read that scripture again.
One started to.
Yeah.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they hate thee, have lifted up the head.
Yeah.
Verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones.
Keep going.
Verse 4. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
And that's what it is today. You know what I'm saying? Not many of us even know that we're the Israelites. You know, out of all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you know, it's very few that actually realize who they are as a people, as a nation. You know, like how it said, they've taken crafty counsel on how can we get these people and cut them off from ever knowing that they were a nation and even remembering or having some kind of knowledge that before in their history, they were the Jews, the Israelites. Well, that's what it is today. That's why we went through the most horrible slavery that's known to man. You know what I'm saying? They beat it out of us so much so that we don't know who we are at all. I'm saying we niggas don't even think about what happened before slavery. That's how much like we've been beat down as a people. We don't even question what's happened before slavery.
Go ahead. Those who do try to question what happened before slavery, they run into that system where they planted false identities. So a lot of us think we was pharaohs and African kings, right. And that ain't true. You know what I'm saying? Israel don't even come to mind when it comes to who were we before slavery.
Right.
Like, Israelite, what the hell is that?
Real talk.
That's what they be thinking in the hood. What the hell is an Israelite?
Real talk, man.
Where do y'all come from? What started this?
Yeah, and then a nigga will say, man, I'm an American. Nigga, really? Nigga, you a nigga from the hood, man.
What is an American?
A devil.
Right, but nobody really understands that question. Like, what is an American? I mean, let's think about where we are. This land belonged to Native Americans.
Mm-hmm.
They did not call themselves Americans. Native Americans was a name given to them.
Right.
So,
see, it comes from a name from an Italian explorer, Amerigo Vespucci. So it's just when, he just put that name on the map.
That's what I was getting to, Slocky.
Oh no, my bad.
No, that's what I was getting to. That name is a nickname that came from a white man, and it's a very soft name. It's hard to pronounce because it's so soft and not man-like. Americiano. What you said it was called? Very Confucius.
Amerigo Vespucci.
Amerigo Confusion. That's
right.
That's not a name that this blood type will give to their children. Just saying. But Africanus, that's not us.
Right.
Really the problem is we don't want to do our research, and when we do our research, we don't feel like the research is important or applies to today's society. So it leads to, and then we're so oppressed. It's like, well, how is this information going to fix my problem? What do they have to do with me? And we can't tell you that it's going to fix all your problems because that'd be lying, but you at least need to know who you are, because that's majority of the battle, knowing who you are. Because not knowing who you are in your culture, you're forced to try to blend in with whatever you think represents you, or the closest thing, like how everybody want to be an African. We want to be an African because they black people, and hey, that's got to be who I am, because I'm black, they black, but that's incorrect.
Right.
Knowing who you are is very important. And here in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, that's what we're giving you: identity, culture, your heritage.
Right.
I ain't say too much.
Oh no, you good. I mean, you right. That's why we need our culture, our heritage. So this doesn't have to repeat again.
Right.
So we don't have to be cut off once again, one more time, and not know who we are again. Because everybody knows the stories of the Israelites, how we constantly went into slavery, how the Israelites would always go into slavery when they stopped keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments. That happened every time. You know what I'm saying? That's what the whole story is about. How the Israelites struggled with the Most High. That's what the whole thing is all about. You know what I'm saying? Most High in Christ is the last slavery. You know what I'm saying? This is the last kingdom that we have to go through. You know what I'm saying? After this, Christ coming back.
Right.
So let me get actually go back into Ecclesiasticus and give me 6 and 13. You know what I'm saying? Actually, never mind. Give me that Corinthians we were talking about. 1 Corinthians 6 and 17. That's what we need. before we get into that.
Was it first or second?
Yeah, first Corinthians 6 and 17. I'm saying this is what you ought to do. You know, this is how we get out of slavery. You know, just the same way when they had spoken to the prophets to go to, you know, the other nations were trying to build, you know, with us to build the temple. You know what I'm saying? The prophets were like, no, it's not for you to come and build with us. It's for us to do it alone. Go ahead and read that.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 6, verse 17. But he that is joined unto the Lord is one spirit.
Oh, that's not
it. Ain't it?
No.
You said something about 2
Corinthians. 2 Corinthians. You're right. You're right. 2 Corinthians. You know what I'm saying?
What is it?
6:17. Yeah, same thing.
This is the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 6, verse 17. Wherefore, come out from among them, and be ye separate, said the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you.
Right. So come from among them. Come from these other nations. Separate yourself, you know, from all other nations, man. Separate yourself. Become a people again. And once we do that, you know, and then we do these laws, the Lord say he's going to accept us again. He's going to remember us as a people again, and he's going to do things for us. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, the opposite of a curse is a blessing. When you break the laws, you get the curses. But when you do the laws, you get the blessings. You got something to say?
Well, I can say something.
Look like you had something to say.
I was just thinking about what you were saying. Salakia. With that being said, imagine nothing. I mean, can you actually imagine nothing but blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans coming together and putting some real effort into following everything in this Bible? And it don't mean you're going to have a dull life. That's another problem too. I think because you following what's in this book, your life's going to be dull. You can drink. You just ask that you drink responsibly. Because when you drink irresponsibly, what happens? DWIs, fights, and stuff you didn't mean to do, but you don't even remember you did. No smoking. What comes from smoking? You damage your brain cells. Your body gets contaminated and it don't function as properly. And if you're doing worse drugs, your body wears and tears. You look older than what you're supposed to. It's a lot of 20-some-year-olds that look older than me. And I'm 30. That's not great. That's not a good thing. You living too fast and you just doing too many wicked things. We all know pork damages your insides. So why even eat it at all? You know, we have talked with a Christian pastor one time, and he said something that made no sense. No, you can eat some pork, you just can't eat a lot of it.
Right.
That don't make sense at all. And it has not been sanctified nowhere in this book to eat pork, any parts of a pig, no swine. So why even touch it? It's so many laws, statutes, commandments that I could touch on. One of the easiest things is just be a brother to your brother and a sister to your sister. Just be a family. Show some brotherhood. Show some kindness. We go out into this street right now, and it's a mean mug stare down between kinsmen of the flesh, and y'all don't know nothing about each other. But for some reason, y'all look at each other like enemies. And you smile at the person that's really giving you a hard time, which is the oppressor.
Right.
The oppressor makes life hard for you at work. Why you want to make it harder for somebody that look like you? And we all going through the same thing. You know, it's some old men at my slave right now that got beef with each other. And the funny thing about that is I tell them they need to chill out. But if they both was to get pulled over in the car together, the police officer is not going to try to find out if they friends or not. He just see niggas. And they both either going to get locked up or killed. So imagine a nation just coming together, following all these law, statutes, and commandments. What's the harm? We can have parties. We can have celebration.
Right.
You can have fun. You could go to a theme park or something. You're not banned from TV, entertainment.
Right.
You know? So, I mean, what's the harm in us following everything in this Bible? What are you afraid of? What is your worst fears about doing this? Is it even fears at all, or are you just being selfish?
And to land back off what you said, the feast days are really like party days.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? They're they're really like party days, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's when brotherhood and sisterhood really shows. You know, instead of celebrating July 4th and all these other heathen holidays, we have our own set of holidays to you know, where we get together and show how much we love each other.
Like it, to piggyback off of that, you want to go so hard for holidays that don't have a damn thing to do with you, and who's created about by people who don't give a damn about you. July 4th, where were your ancestors on July 4th?
Right.
They was getting their ass whooped. I don't think they want you celebrating July 4th. I know this is a hard one to argue with, but Christmas. I mean, because y'all want gifts and all that. But even the book, you know, the Bible say a gift destroys the heart. But I mean, it's just, come on, man.
Real talk.
For real though. Halloween. I get it, candy. You know, you can get candy without Halloween. You really can. You can buy bucks of it online or go to Costco. You know, you get candy. What does it celebrate? Y'all going so hard for candy, and that's about witchcraft. Dressing up as people who would kill you, like.
And Salakia, even your birthday, that's in the satanic Bible. That's a wicked. That's probably the worst thing you could do is celebrate your own birth, making yourself a god.
I ain't trying to keep making this a back forward thing, but Salakia,
go ahead.
Your birthday, the day of me. Celebrate me, or you don't love me. Right. I can love you all year.
Right.
But I tell you, I don't celebrate birthdays, and all of a sudden it's I don't care about you. Oh man. You used to really, you changed. I don't know what made you change, or you know what, you just hating because you ain't born on this month.
Damn. Niggas be getting into the horoscopes.
Man, right. My horoscope told me something about you. What month you? Oh yeah, Sagittarius. Yeah, don't nobody like y'all. Mm-hmm. Like, come on, man. Like, what sense do that make? I love you all year, and this one day I don't acknowledge you. All that love go in the garbage. That don't make sense. It don't make sense. And then some people try to swing it. Well, you know, I understand you said you don't celebrate birthdays, but that's your birthday. What about mine? No, when I said birthdays, that's plural, not singular. That means multiple birthdays, and I'm talking about everybody's. Come on, man. A lot of things we do don't make sense, but it was taught to us. And right now, you need, you know, a lot of people hate the word brainwash, but you need to cleanse your mind. You need to wash your brain. You only wash something that's dirty. And even if it was clean, you rewash it to make it cleaner. Just to make sure it's clean. So you need to be brainwashed. You need to cleanse your mind and relearn this book and get a better perspective of what's going on in this world.
Right.
Because everything right now is against you. And you feel it in your spirit. That's what's so funny about Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You feel it against you. You wake up feeling like the whole world is against you. But when somebody telling you it's against you, you like, nah, that's a negative thought. I can't dwell in that right now. I got to think positive. And you right now, you're disturbing my peace. No, I'm disturbing your demons. And I'm trying to awaken the real spirit that's deep inside you, that the Most High wants to speak to, but he can live without if you choose not to do these laws, statutes, and commandments.
That's right. So give me Ecclesiasticus 6 and 15. I think you already, no, 6 and 13.
Okay. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 6, verse 13. Separate thyself from thine enemies, right, and take heed of thy friends.
Right. So separate yourself from your enemies, man. You know, and take heed, you know what I'm saying? Know who are your friends. Know who are your people. But first you got to separate from your enemies, man. You got to separate yourself from, you know, these unclean nations.
Salaki.
Go ahead.
If I may, could I go back to 2 Corinthians 6 and 17?
Go ahead.
This is the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 6, verse 17. Wherefore, come out from among them and be ye separate.
Right.
I'm going to stop right there, if I may.
Go ahead.
And I just want to point out, it says, come out from among them. You know, if you really thoroughly reading and trying to get deep into context, who is them? And then it said, be ye separate. So be separated from what? Who do you need to separate from? You need to separate from only people that sin. Okay, we go with that. That means you need to follow all these laws, statutes, and commandments. And the Lord knows my heart don't come into play on this.
Right.
So it's key words in this book that's giving you instructions and telling you how to go about with this life. No, everything is not going to be peaches and cream as soon as you start following these laws, statutes, and commandments. Because when you follow these laws, statutes, and commandments, and you can look at the I.S.U.P.K as an example, people start hating you.
Right.
They don't even really know why. They demons just say, hate that person. You know, hey man, you smoke? Oh no, I don't smoke. Yo bougie ass. What was that about? Come on. Like, it's so much evidence that point to who's the righteous people of this world and who's not. So much evidence. If you're ignoring it, it's because you want to. And you're trying hard to. Or then again, maybe the Most High just don't want you to see it because you so damn wicked, he got to take you out.
Man.
I mean, you either we're telling the whole truth or we're telling the whole lie. And a lot of you watch our videos. Yeah, he right about that. Yeah, he right about this. Yeah, I do see that. But as soon as we hit a certain topic that you're not comfortable with because you're constantly doing, smoking is one of the biggest ones, or women just whoring themselves out there, or multiple wives. See, I don't agree with that. And then they throw everything else we say out the window. Nah, man. It's all in this Bible.
Right. Even Salakia, even the ways to to separate is in this Bible. We have our own way of how we conduct ourselves. We have our own rules. That's what the laws are. When we said, it's not like we're just gonna have our own thing, our own land, and then it's just gonna be chaotic. That's what most of our people have in our heads. You know what I'm saying? Like, dang, niggas ruling. Oh man, I know it's gonna be horrible. No, man, we have a set of rules and guidelines. And this is ours. This book is ours. You know what I'm saying? It's not just some niggas going crazy. And we have our own thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have our own way of doing things. But first you got to separate yourself and take heed of your friends. So keep going.
Which Ecclesiastes?
Yeah, where you at? 6 and 13.
Okay.
Read again.
Read again.
Yeah.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse.
No, 6 and 13.
It's like chapter 6, verse 13. Separate thyself from thine enemies,
right,
and take heed of thy friends.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 14. A faithful friend is a strong defense.
Right.
And he that hath found such, and one hath found a treasure.
Right. A faithful friend is a strong defense. Brotherhood and sisterhood is a strong defense. That's why we say not only is it a defense, it's also a weapon,
right,
on your enemies. Since they all follow us anyway, all these nations follow us and they feed off us. The second we get together, it can be used. Us unifying can be used as a weapon to crush other nations. What? Go ahead.
Salaki, I just thought of an example. I don't know if they still do this, but back in the day, when that I know of, when people were clubbing, I don't know if they still do it. You have the one girl who knows when she gets a hold of too much liquor, she just start acting crazy and take on the spirit of a whore. So that she won't be a full-fledged whore in the club, she takes a friend with her to monitor her who can control their liquor a little bit better. So in case she get too out of hand, she protects her. So you have predators in the club or all type of different men who don't care about the well-being of the sister, watching her getting drunk and know she's up for the taking, know she's about to be a whore and tried to get her, but the friend is there to fend them off. And no, you can't take her nowhere. No, she don't want to dance, yada, yada, yada. A lot of brothers hated that, but that was some strong sisterhood. You know what I'm saying? Your friend was about to be a whore and she blocked that. Now, I know a few brothers is going to disagree, but I don't give a damn because y'all in the world. And this school, we all about the safety of our brothers and sisters.
Right.
And we're not for whoring out our sisters. We want our sisters to respect themselves, and we're going to respect them even if they don't respect themselves.
Right.
But that's an example that I could think of with sisterhood.
Good.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? Exactly, man. It's all about really, because we got to protect each other, because really we're all we got.
Right.
So we have to depend on each other. Brotherhood and sisterhood can be a strong defense. You know what I'm saying? You can, especially against other nations.
Right.
Because if we have brotherhood, we wouldn't need other nations to come into our own communities to sell to us. We'd have our own thing.
Right.
So it's like a double-edged sword. You know what I'm saying? It can really be used as a weapon and a defense, an offense and a defense. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead, keep reading.
Verse 14. Or did I read that up? Verse 15. Nothing doth Okay. Nothing does countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable.
Right. A faithful friend is valuable, man. You know what I'm saying? It's very valuable because you know what I'm saying, like your friends in the world, they weren't really for you. You know, they for the most part they were probably around because you probably had a bag of weed. You probably just bought you a bag of weed and they want to smoke it up with you. You know what I'm saying? Most of the time back in the world, you made friends, you know, because they were addicts just like you. Right. So y'all are on the same path. Y'all are in one mind, one accord on doing drugs and doing wickedness. You know what I'm saying? But a faithful, righteous friend, I'm saying you're only going to find that here in the UPK, man. You know, where our one mind, one accord is to build a nation, right? To save our people from this hell. But so I'll go ahead. Next verse. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Verse 16. A faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear the Lord shall find him.
Right. So those that fear the Lord, they're going to find that faithful friend. You know what I'm saying? They're going to find that brotherhood and sisterhood because, you know, brotherhood and sisterhood is how we're going to heal as a people. Right. You need you need to unify and care for each other as a people for any of us to get any kind of real healing at all. Go ahead. You have something?
Yeah, because Salaki, if I may, the key phrase in that verse for me is a faithful friend is the medicine of life. You know, you think about a lot of situations, and sometimes people trying to talk to you about them, and you ain't trying to hear them. But that one faithful friend or that one family member,
Right.
it's like no matter how you feeling, when they speak, you can't help but listen. And you're in desperate need to hear their words of wisdom. That's powerful right there.
Right.
Brotherhood or sisterhood, or a little, either one. That's powerful right there.
Right.
Medicine to life, because life is, as we know it, is hell. Until the kingdom come, life is hell. And you need somebody who can, you know, in the school, as I like to say, in the school of hard knocks, you know, joy is like a recess break or lunch break. And, you know, every now and then you try to overextend it. But once that little break is over, you right back to your lessons, going through hardship. And when you got your friends at recess and your lunch break, making everything cool and everything, it just seemed like it's all worth it. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, I ain't trying to overdo it, but like as we speak about this medicine of life, a lot of us are so ill with hell that we going through today that we want to die.
Right.
And we try to find a way to justify it, like, you know, in our statements, like I would die for this person, I would die for that person. But it's getting to the point where dying is not acceptable no more, because we don't die behind noble things. We're dying behind petty things, as you didn't signal your left signal light when you made the left turn. You know, that ain't noble. So now it's getting to the point where we have to start living for people.
Right.
Because living is harder than dying. Dying is nothing to it. You know, your light switches off and that's it. But living, that's a continuous thing. And a lot of us are so beat down and exhausted from life. We're tired of living. So to live for somebody, you know, and that's a selfless act. To live for somebody is way more powerful and a heavier burden. But it must be done because somebody's watching you and you don't even realize it.
So lucky. And the only way you really going to live is to, you know, do the laws, man. I'm saying loving one another is part of the law. You know, loving your people.
Right.
Loving your people is how you're going to really know what it's like to live. You know what I'm saying? To be a nation is knowing what it's like to live, not being up under another nation. That's why the scriptures say those that fear the Lord will find them, will find a faithful friend. They're going to find brotherhood and sisterhood. They're going to know what it's like to be a people. You know what I'm saying? They're going to know what it's like, you know, what real friendship is, what real brotherhood and sisterhood is, what it's like to be a people, a nation. You know what I'm saying? That's where the healing is going to start, man. When you start loving, when you separate and you start loving your people over anything else. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close class. I'm saying this is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, starting 1 West 125th Street under Commanding General YAHANNA.
All right.
With that, Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahushai to the brothers, and to the sisters, Shalom, Yahweh Shamar, Allah Ba'ashem Yahushai.
Shalom.